4, 3, 2, 1. Watch me. Level up, level up, level up, level up, level up.
Hey guys, it's Lydia Nava with Level Up with Lydia, your business podcast that is no BS, no fluff, just real answers with real business owners so that you can have the most successful year in business. And I am so excited. Today, we have Miss Caryn Craig, who is businesswoman, entrepreneur, author, all things, and really excited to talk to her about her journey, how she got here, and some advice for you guys. So welcome, Caryn.
Thank you. I just love that it's no BS.
It's no BS,
That's
yes.
amazing.
And our pretty Love is Blind wine glasses are here, making an appearance.
Dying with the Love is Blind wine glasses. Like, I'm dying.
We're just stepping it up a notch, guys. So, but really excited to have you on, Caryn. And so let's just jump into it. I want to hear everything from how you got started in business to where you're at now and writing a book. That's huge. So yeah, start us off from the beginning.
Oh boy. Well, I was born in Perth Amboy. You said the beginning. No, I was a ballet dancer. And so did you not know that?
I think I knew
that. Know that? Yeah. So I was a ballet dancer and had ADHD. And so in the 90s, nobody knew how to deal with ADHD, especially with a girl. And I didn't even know that until I was in my 40s. So ballet was how I got myself through school.
Okay.
So I went to an arts high school, and then I have an undergraduate degree in dance, arts administration, dance, performance, ballet. And I got hurt when I was 19. And so it was like a professional athlete getting hurt.
Yeah.
And that was awful for me because I had this plan. I was 19.
Yeah. Were you going to do that forever? Is that the plan?
Oh yeah. I was totally going to do it forever,
Yeah.
even though most of them retire when they're 23. So, I had a plan forever, but I didn't want to go to college. I ended up going to college because I could get a degree in dance because I didn't want to sit in a classroom and stare at a teacher with bad lighting. And that's just not, I still can't do that. I don't even have a career like that. So I graduated with this arts management degree with a business minor, and I went to work for Disney. And that
Disney
World in Florida.
What did you do there?
I was a lifeguard.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting. I was a lifeguard growing up my whole life too.
So was I. Yeah, and so I lifeguarded, and then my grandfather died, and they wouldn't give me time off because Disney.
What?
Yeah, Disney they're a big company, and they're the happiest place on earth, but it is not the happiest place to work. And I moved back to New Jersey in the winter of 2002, and I was unemployed for like 12 weeks, and I had no money. I mean, I remember I had negative $90 because I wanted to buy this cat.
Because that's what you do when you're broke.
I needed a cat. Like, I just wanted to buy this cat. I borrowed $90 from my mother, and I was like, we really got to get on it. So I got this job in customer service with barnesandnoble.com. And I just couldn't sit in a cube. I can't be a cube person.
No.
I mean, shout out to all the cube people that are out there because there's a lot of them, but I'm not a cube human. So I quit that job, and then I got a job with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Everybody was doing it at the time. It was like the thing to do. And so I was in the management training program with them. And that was the best and the worst of both worlds because it taught you everything. And that was the first time I really did goal setting or thought about entrepreneurship and learned how to run a business.
Okay.
And you learned everything there. Like I said, best and worst of everything. And I worked a lot of hours. They encouraged happy hours, and I definitely took them up on that encouragement. Did that a lot.
Lots of happy hours.
Lots of happy hours. And made my way through the ranks there. And then, you kind of went one of two ways. You went into real estate or you went into medical sales. And from Enterprise because they teach you how to run your own business. And so they teach you sales.
Sure.
And I was not going into anything medical. That's just not, my brain doesn't work that way. I'm not going to go stand in, a surgical room. What do they call that? An operating room. That's not happening. Could you imagine? And you have to smell inside of a body.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to do that. That's freaking disgusting.
That sounds really...
No, it's just not happening.
Unpleasant.
Ew. So real estate, it was. So I was recruited by a headhunter to go work for a national home builder. And I did really, really well working for the national home builders. I was in the top 10% nationally with that builder. And then, I was like in my 20s. My brain was not even fully formed. And so I decided that I didn't want to be with that builder anymore. So I moved on to a new builder. And then the same thing happened again. Then I moved on to a new builder. And then, I got married. I'm divorced now, and we're just going to leave it like that. But I got married. I never saw my husband. And so I left the last builder I was with and I got my real estate license.
Okay.
And then, like I said, got married.
Real quick, what was the reason for jumping from job? It was just, you got bored there?
I got bored
okay.
or community sold out. I didn't want to drive an hour
Okay.
to a community from where I was living at the time. That just didn't work for me.
Sure.
So where was I? ADHD.
Married?
I didn't take my Adderall today. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
man. Sponsored by Adderall. Come
I'm
on.
sorry. Sponsored by
Sponsorship's failing.
Adderall. I mean, sorry, Adderall. Okay. I got married. I got my real estate license. And then within 3 months of getting married, my ex-husband and I opened a restaurant.
Mhm.
And so he owned bars, nightclubs, and restaurants. He was a DJ, is a DJ. And the first day that we were open, I looked at him and I said, okay, well, how much did we make? And he goes, well, I don't know.
Oh, man.
And yeah. Yeah. And so
what was your role in the company? Were you owner?
at the
Were you
time,
just management?
at the time, I was always an owner.
Okay.
But at the time, I was a realtor. So I really didn't want to, I was kind of thrown in for this reason. So I said, okay, you don't know how much we made. We had a cash box back in the day. This is back in the day. We didn't even have POS system. Cash. This is back in the day. It was a long time ago. It was like 20 something years ago. And so I said, okay, well, we can count what's in the box, which you've already done. How much did you put in the box before the night? Well, I don't know. And I was like, you just cleared out my savings account to open this restaurant. And this is how you're going to handle my money? No, sir. And so from then on, I handled all of the financing.
Okay.
And all of the operations and budgets.
For one location, multiple locations?
We started with one location. Okay. At one point, we had up to 5.
Wow.
I don't even remember how many we've had, like 12 or 17, one of those numbers. We had a lot, and they were all in Houston, and some of them are really big names. And I learned so much working in that industry.
Yeah. Still doing real estate on the side, or now you were?
So I did real estate. I did real estate for other people as a realtor until 2010. And then I let my license go because I was doing all of our commercial real estate, and those leases were really big and it was enough to keep me going. At the time, I was trying to have kids. I went through IVF 7 times.
Oh my goodness.
All while owning these businesses. And that industry is almost 24/7. It's chaotic. It's a lot of drama.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of liability.
Yeah.
So I gave up my license in 2010, made my way through the bar industry. And then in 2020, I really burned out. That was very, very hard. I had to lay off our staff twice, and they didn't deserve that. That was,
very unfortunate.
It was unfortunate because I think we can think back now and realize, hindsight's always 20/20, but it was just such a horrible time. And I did burn out. I mean, there were massive problems in my marriage at that time, and we were business partners. So when you work with your spouse, it's very, very difficult. You have to have those boundaries. You have to be able to come home and shut it off because you have the same stress.
Right.
You can't support each other because you have the same stress. And it was very hard. And then throw a pandemic on top of it. And it was just.
What would you suggest for those business owners who are either a married couple or even best friends? Because I've had to coach friends who have been together since they were 5 years old.
Yeah.
Right? What do you suggest to actually make it work?
I'm a huge fan of partnership agreements because I believe you come up with those agreements and you formulate them in the good times for when times go bad. And unfortunately, times go bad. 50% of marriages end in divorce.
I thought it was more than that percentage.
I think maybe 52%.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm in the 52. But you have to have those agreements, and those agreements are also your boundaries. And I really believe in having firm boundaries. And I think that's just really, really difficult.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we always brought work home. It was always there. I mean, I was literally giving birth in the hospital. And people are bringing us deposits from the night before, and they're bringing us reports. And I just remember laying there thinking, I'm never going to be able to get away from this. It's just, and we had stacked management,
Yeah, you weren't doing it all necessarily.
I was staying out till 4:00 in the morning at that point. We had an operations manager. Every bar had a general manager. Then they had at least one assistant, if not more than that. So the fact that it was like that, it was just very, very difficult. And I grew up watching one of my aunts and uncles, they owned convenience stores.
Okay.
And delis in New Jersey. Delis are kind of different than they are here, but they own a really big deli. And I remember her saying, I was coming home from giving birth to, I think, her second daughter, and somebody had won the lottery. So on the way home from the hospital, she had to stop at the store.
Oh my goodness.
And deal with the lottery winner. And I'll never forget that because, hi, I've been there. During the pandemic, I the only thing I could do was try to figure out how to get open again. And again, my marriage was very bad at that point. My ex-husband had a drug problem and he could not function through that loss. And so it was up to me. And I used the network and the community around me, and I bought a food truck. And the community and network around me really came to play because these amazing individuals from Cisco Marketing heard our story through the neighborhood that I used to live in. And they were like, oh, we'll do the food truck for you. And I was like, oh, please. And so they came and they put the concept on us and they formulated our menu. We got to go to the Cisco menu lab, which was fabulous. It was like,
That sounds awesome.
yeah, it was really awesome. And they cooked for us. We got to taste all things. We brought our staff with us. It was great. And so because I bought the food truck and I started that whole concept, which I did not want to do, I had sold our restaurant, the last restaurant we had,
Okay.
6 months before the pandemic. And at that time, I made the mistake of saying, I am never doing food again, which I'm never going to say that again. Because then I ended up doing a food truck and I didn't want to do it, but I didn't have a choice because that enabled us to open that bar 6 months earlier in the pandemic than we would have been able to.
Sure.
We would have lost it
Sure.
at that point. And we were able to open at a very diminished capacity. But between the problems in my marriage, trying to be a mother, because I had 2 young children, I still have 2 children, and trying to run these businesses, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so I knew I was going to leave my marriage. It was inevitable. I had to. I couldn't raise my children in that environment. So I got my real estate license again. And in, I don't know, sometime in 2022, I was hired on with a brokerage in Katy. And now I'm at KW Commercial on Caltech's team. And I do almost all commercial real estate, mostly antenna rep.
Okay. And so what is the specialty? What do you look for when you're representing clients in the commercial space?
So what I like is not all the time what I do, because that's generally how it is. I really, really, really like helping female entrepreneurs start their business. When we started that first restaurant, when my ex didn't know how much we made, there was nobody to help me. I didn't know about B&I. I didn't know about chambers. I didn't know about networking. I didn't know about any of that.
Mhm.
I didn't know that there was this help out there for us and we could have used it. And so I feel like I sit here as a resource, and that's what I want to do. I want to help women.
That's awesome.
Start businesses. I want to help small business. I feel like this country fucks around with small business all the time. Can I say fuck?
Yes. You're more than welcome. We appreciate it.
Okay.
We welcome it.
Because I just said
Because you said it and I'm not editing it out because
fuck. Okay. Fuckity, fuck. And so I, damn, bam. Okay. So I need some water. Lydia, talk for a minute. What was I saying before? Just, like Tourette's, like dropping F-bombs. What was I talking about?
You're talking about the community
Oh, I was
network.
talking about the government. Okay,
The
this is why I
government,
started
yeah.
dropping F-bombs. So I feel like the government screws around with small business all the time, and it pisses me off because small business is the backbone of the American economy. We employ the most people
Mhm.
in America, and small business is what founded this company. So, fun fact, there were 2 buildings built in the first colony. One was a church, and the other one was a bar, a public house. So a pub, that's where the word pub came from in, the bar world. And that's where people would go and they would meet and they would congregate because, you can't really drink in church unless you're Catholic, but they didn't build a Catholic church first. So the fact that in the pandemic, the government thought it was okay to say, you're not important. You're a problem. You're the cause of all of this. No, it was a ridiculous bunch of bullshit that I had ever heard. And it made me so mad. And so when I started to do commercial real estate for other people, I was like, no, there's a group of people out there who don't know what they're doing, who need help.
Yeah.
So that's my passion project.
I love it.
And I just want to help small business.
What are some of the resources that you would tell a business owner who's either just starting out
Mm-hmm.
or maybe they haven't even started yet to get involved with?
So they have an idea.
They might have an idea. They might have just bought a business, might have just started a business, and they're looking to grow. What are some of the best resources for them to look out for?
I would say that they should, hopefully have identified the area where they are and find out what's going on in the business, like overall, the macro business environment in that area. So let's just bring up the Houston Heights for a minute. So say you want to open a restaurant in the Houston Heights. Now, I'm going to put a caveat in there and say that I really, really believe that all restaurants, especially if you've never done it before, should start as a food truck. Food truck culture is huge here. It's a great way to test your culture, test your menu, test your whole product before you are locked into a big old lease. I mean, that's, in my opinion, I have done this for a long time now. That's the best way to do it. But say you want to do this in the Heights. I would join one of the chambers in the Heights and I would introduce myself. Hi, I'm Caryn. I'm going to start a business. It's going to be here in the Heights. And you're going to meet all of these people around you. The same thing with, networking groups, like we're obviously in BNI.
Sure.
I would visit a bunch of BNI meetings.
Yeah, which BNI is Business Networking International. So it's an international networking organization that helps connect business owners, and resources.
And it does. And it helps connect business owners. And I think BNI specifically is really great for small businesses starting.
Yeah.
Because you have so many different resources that are there. Even if it's not in your chapter, it'll be in another chapter.
We had a cleaning company that just joined and I asked her recently, I was like, it's been about a month since she's been a member. I said, what's been the biggest thing? She's like, I got business, which is great. But the biggest thing I got from it was these resources of a great CPA and a great banker and a great, all of these things that I wouldn't know how to vet or find elsewhere.
And that's exactly right, because you can't do everything yourself. My favorite type of client is the one, I'm going to often open a coffee shop. Fabulous. I really like making coffee at home. I've got this really expensive, whatever they're called, machines. I'm going to open a coffee shop. And I'm like, okay, so you're not.
Oh,
this isn't actually going to happen. But if this is your dream, if this is what you want to do, let's try to find you some people to help, to put you on the path to be able to do that.
That brings a question that I've asked other people before, and I'm curious to get your take on it, is when starting a business, or if you're like, hey, I think I want to be a business owner and I want to start a business, should it be something that you're passionate about, good about, or should you be starting a business just to have a business for income? And this is what I mean, like a hobby. Should I go, okay, I'm really good at making signs, right? I actually do love making signs, or baking. I'm going to start a bakery or a sign company. Because my belief is you probably shouldn't, because you're going to get stuck doing that thing forever and ever and never want to stop doing it.
So I think it goes two ways. When I went to college for dancing was something I just liked to do. But then I went to college for it, and it was a job.
Right.
And I needed to be graded on it, and there was perfection expected, and it really took that sparkle out of there. Same thing with working for Disney. You go backstage at Disney and you're going to see that character with their head like this, walking around. It really ruins the magic, especially if they're smoking a cigarette. And yet that did happen. So I think that can go both ways.
Yeah.
I think, the other end of that spectrum is you're going to be doing this for a long time. You better at least kind of like it.
Yeah.
But then, I have an MBA, and when I was in MBA school, we always had to think of, you just think of business in a different way when you're in school. And so the one takeaway, and it is the biggest takeaway I had about starting a business when I was in graduate school, was you need to find a problem and you need to fix it.
Right.
And I will say this about starting a bakery. How many bakeries are there? What are you going to do to differentiate yourself from the big bakeries out there? The Crumbles, that hemp bakery. I'm just trying to think.
Grocery stores.
Even the grocery stores.
There's so much competition.
There's so much competition that's there. How are you going to be special doing that?
Yeah.
Are you just doing it because you like doing it and you're going to have a stall at the farmer's market? Cool. That's awesome. Don't expect to become a millionaire.
Yeah.
Just, make sure you have the right expectations.
Yeah. I feel like you should be passionate about becoming a business owner and learning business, and then having whatever the business is support the passion project, right?
Yeah.
So being able to give you the time to do that, or the money to do that, the resources to do that. But it's just an interesting concept because you kind of brought it up. So actually going back to Disney, since you mentioned it again, I have always heard, and we've been on some Disney cruises and stuff, and customer service is like
it's the number one thing. It's the number one.
What's the number one thing you learned from there that people can take away for their business?
Ooh, that's a good one, Lydia. Well, because I was in a position where I was one of the only people who was allowed to tell a guest no.
That's true.
It was a safety. It was a safety situation. Customer service, specifically you think about Disney. Disney has a lot of competition now. It didn't used to when it first opened, but now Universal is breathing down their neck, literally, and they have more money. So the way you talk to your guests is going to differentiate their experience. And it could make or break the experience from being at Universal. In the bar industry, we used to say we sell the same Budweiser, Bud Light, that every other bar in this city sells. What's going to make the difference? And it's the relationship that you form with your customer and with your client and how they feel and if they're comfortable in your space.
Yeah.
So that kind of answered your question in a very roundabout
Yeah.
way.
No, I appreciate that. And I think we talk about that all the time is even on one of the other podcasts, we were talking about people want to do business with their friends above all other things.
Yep.
And so if they have that relationship, it doesn't matter, again, if you're selling the same product or there's 10 other places to buy it, they're going to buy it from their friends.
Right.
Period. So, and then from the bar restaurant world, what is one of the biggest takeaways you've had from there for business owners? I mean, that's a crazy industry to be in.
So there's a few. I believe you get them drunk, you keep them safe. It's true. You get them drunk, you keep them safe. Texas law requires that. And not every state requires that, but Texas does. And it is your corporate responsibility. You're going to get them drunk, then you're going to keep them safe as you can, because people are adults. And we owned a nightclub. It was subterranean. So it was in a basement. And, we don't really have those here in Texas. It was called Kryptonite. It was a bunch of nightclubs before that, but it was subterranean, which means it stunk. It smelled so bad. It was so successful because of how our staff and the programming we put around it made the customer feel. They loved it. They loved it so much they would steal toilets leaving there. Yeah, I know. It's just weird, but they did. And so we had to put prison toilets in there because of that. So people are going to come where they feel comfortable and they feel welcome and they feel safe. And that was a rave club. And I don't even remember the kind of dubstep. It was when dubstep music was so popular and it was not my jam. I was pregnant down there and it stunk. And there was all kinds of like wildlife down there, possums in the beer boxes, big old snakes, because it was right on the bayou. But they flocked down there in droves.
That
every
also just
weekend.
makes me think that there's a target market for everything, or there's a market for everything, right? Not everything, but most things, right? And so the excuse of, hey, XYZ is going wrong in my business, I can't get customers.
That doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for me. There was
that's
no
an
excuses.
Excuse. Yeah.
No excuses. I mean, people got the logo of that club tattooed on their bodies.
Wow.
Okay.
That's like Harley Davidson stuff right there.
And it was.
Yeah.
I mean, the concept was amazing. Concept went away because it flooded 4 times in 1 year. And that was extremely expensive to replace.
But it was all relationships is what you're saying.
It was
just
all
how
relationships.
they treat people.
It was how people felt when they entered your space.
Okay. Awesome. Love that. And then let's talk about the book.
Oh, yeah.
Because we haven't even talked about that.
I know. Isn't that weird?
So tell me about it.
So I was approached through BNI. I met it through one of my chapter members introduced me to the lady who started the program. It's called Six Figure Chicks. And it was something I was kind of like, fine, I have to have a meeting with this woman. I had just gotten divorced. It was like the month after my divorce. My life was in chaos. My kids were in chaos. I was moving and I was like, fine, I'll have a meeting with this woman. And so I did. And I was just listening to her. And within 20 minutes, I said, all right, stop talking, because I'm a salesperson. I was like, okay, I'll just sign up. And she was like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, don't talk yourself out of a sale. So I'll just sign up. And I did. And then I wrote the parts of the book that I wrote. I wrote my chapter. I wrote a bunch of other parts that are in there. And it was a great experience. I'm writing a second book. I'm kind of stalled on it right now.
Do you want to talk about what it is?
My second book?
Yeah.
My second book is going to be about being in a mixed sexual orientation marriage and non-monogamy that's not ethical. And we'll probably throw some psychopath stuff in there too.
Nice.
Yeah.
So a little bit different than Six Figure Chicks.
It's way different. It's funny because somebody said, you kind of left us hanging. And I was like, the second one's coming. It's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot.
I need to go to Nantucket for a month and just sit there and write.
Yeah.
And that's clearly not happening.
Yeah.
So single mom, not happening.
Lots of stuff going on. Can't have that happen.
Yeah, I will eventually finish it, but writing a book was great. I initially did it for marketing reasons.
Sure.
Because it's something to talk about. We're talking about it right now. It's cool. I have this fun book and I liked it, but I really, really like it. I like that it empowered women. It introduced me to a whole bunch of other female entrepreneurs, and that's what I wanted from it.
So what is the book actually about? Like, who would want to read it and what would they get from it?
I think any woman should read that book,
okay,
from young girls all the way up until you just don't want to read anymore. And then you can listen to the audiobook that I've recorded myself. It's just about female stories,
okay,
and female energy. And every one of us has a different story.
Yeah.
Every one of us does. And I think it's important, society, does what they do to women and young girls specifically. And I think it's really important. It was very, very heartening for me to see my daughter say, I need 4 copies to give to my teachers. And I said, all right, here you go. And she was so excited. And she came to my book signing and she's like, yeah, this is my mom. She's right here. And she's having everybody sign. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
It's amazing for young girls. Young girls, I mean, boys too. I have a boy as well. I'm a boy mom too. But like for my daughter, she's just at that age where it was important for her.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, very cool. Yes, go check it out. And with all of these different, you've been Disney, you've been the bar and restaurant industry, you went through all the COVID stuff, you did the real estate stuff, you've done the author stuff. I mean, you've done a lot, right? So in all of that.
Wow, that makes me sound kind of like a little bit awesome. It's like a lot. I really have done all this stuff.
You wouldn't be here. No, it's amazing. And
or it could make me sound old.
No, you did it all before you were 30, right?
Am I 30?
Yeah. I thought that's what you said.
I mean, every year.
Every year. No, it is amazing. It is really amazing achievements, what you have accomplished. And so out of all that, if there was one thing business owners, professionals could do today that a year from now, they'd look back and be like, wow, that made a big difference. What would it be to do or start doing?
Oh, this is my favorite. You even just said it. You're like, if you look back a year from now, you have an idea right now. Everybody's got this idea, like something they want to do. Just start it. Make a mistake, fall on your face, just start it. My old business coach, David Brady, used to say, can you stop thinking about this? Can you just do it? Can you just record a video, Caryn? Like, God bless him. He's in heaven now. But like, can you just record a video? And I was like, no, I can't. I'm all in my head. I just can't do it right now. My hair looks bad. Like, just start. Record the damn video.
Yeah.
Make a mistake. Trip over your words. Say fuck, fuckity, fuck, fuck, fuck. Who cares?
Fail fast.
Fail fast.
I think that's the biggest thing.
It is the biggest thing.
It's
just
the quickest
start.
way to learn, and failing fast definitely is the best way for sure. If you look at and I like really appreciate that advice, because if you look at any big name, I mean, Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, any of them, go back 10 years and look at their first video.
Yeah.
Like train wreck. Right. And so we have to start somewhere, and that's the only way we're going to get better. So I really appreciate that advice, because so many people just sit and think and think and think, and then nothing ever happens.
Stop thinking. Think. Don't stop thinking. But like, think
take
smartly.
Educated action. But action.
Because in a year, you're going to be like, crap, I should have started that a year ago.
Yep.
You lost a year.
Yep. Yeah. Action is one of the most important things.
It is.
Awesome. Well, anything that we haven't covered today that you're like, man, people need to know about this?
No, I think we're good.
We're good.
What do you think?
I think we're good.
All right, fab.
This is great.
Awesome.
So, Caryn, I appreciate you being on this. This is Level Up with Lydia. Please comment, like, share, all of the things. Follow us on Instagram, on Facebook soon. And we are also on Spotify and YouTube. So please share us. We really want to make this one of the best business podcasts out there. So if you have comments, leave them below. We'll make sure we cover some episodes on those. And if you'd like to be a guest, we would love to have you on as well. My name is Lydia Navo, and this is Level Up with Lydia.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Level up, level up, level up.